Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Time for some Sherlock Series 4 Q&A. Just like last time, I picked 20 of your questions from the comments to answer in a video. Since a lot of the questions were similar, I combined some of the answers too. First things first though, congratulations to all the winners from my giveaway. And the winners are Kennedy Barth, Liam Marshall, Don Curtis, Meg Sevier, and Lauren Galloway. You'll each get a copy of the Series 3 DVD or Blu-ray, your choice. If you are international or UK, I'll be giving you PayPal equivalent. I'll DM all you guys on your channels to get contact info, but everyone give them a high five. But don't worry if you didn't win anything, I'll be at VidCon this summer giving away these Sherlock tea tins. This is MOAR tea. There won't be a tea in them, they'll just be empty, but they're really cool. Alright, so let's answer some questions. These aren't in any particular order, but here we go. Question number 1, GeekyGal644 asks, do you think Irene Adler will make a full return in the next series? And do you think she has anything to do with Moriarty's return? Yes, she will be back, but the big question is whether or not it'll just be in the Mind Palace or if it will also be in real life. You remember during Silent 3 where he told her, get out of my head. She's never going to get out of his head, so she'll always be present in each series, at least in the Mind Palace. With respect to Moriarty, there is a theory that I've seen that says that she is the one that engineered that Moriarty clip just to keep Sherlock from being sent away. I don't necessarily believe that, but we can't really rule anything out at this point. Question number 2, Ink as Rain asks, does Janine have anything to do with Moriarty? There were actually a lot of people that asked different versions of this question. What is the connection between Janine and Moriarty? If you look at Valley of Fear, Sherlock retired to Sussex Downs, Janine bought a cottage in Sussex Downs. That story features the first chronological appearance of Moriarty, so is there a possible connection? Or is Janine somehow related to Moriarty? Are they just gender bending her and she's the brother? If they're gender bending the brother character, then it's possible that she orchestrated the clip just as a way to enact Moriarty's final plan. She would have had incredible access to information by working with Magnuson, so there would have been an advantage to having her inside of his operation. It is a very cool theory, and they do have very similar Irish accents. Question number 3, apropos the wet snow asks, did Magnuson have anything to do with the Moriarty clip? It's possible that Magnuson did have a failsafe in place in case anything bad happened with his meeting with Sherlock, but it's implied that he was really good at remembering things, but it was really Sherlock that was good at deducing things. So I don't think that Magnuson thought things out quite as well as Sherlock would have. Question number 4, Hope Merritt asks, how long do you think that Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss have been planning the Moriarty Lives ending? They actually planned things really far in advance, so they probably knew what they wanted to happen at the end of Series 2. Like, right now, they already know what the story is for Series 4, and they're plotting out Series 5. That's how far ahead they are. They're years ahead. Question number 5, Summer Bradshaw asks, I think another famous Sherlock story they'll probably use at some point is the Speckled Band. High fives, you're very well read. For anyone that doesn't know, the Speckled Band is one of Sherlock's locked room mysteries. Remember during Silent 3 whenever Sherlock claimed that the case of the Bloody Guardsman was the best locked room mystery ever? That was a reference to a story like Speckled Band. In actuality, it's a really short story, but it takes place on an estate called Stoke Moran, which could be used as connective tissue to the Sebastian Moran character. So even though Sherlock does not believe in coincidences, a lot of things ended up getting the same name just because Conan Doyle was really bad at naming things. Question number 6, Lady Loves Music 1 asks, could Mary still die in Series 4? Do you think we'll see young Sherlock again? Do you really think we'll have Professor Moriarty? And will there be any consequences of Sherlock being a murderer now? I don't think that Moffat and Gatiss would kill a mother and her unborn child, but I do think it's possible that Mary will be sent away and she and Baby Watson will just be separated from John. With regards to Professor Moriarty, I don't ever recall the word professor being attached to Moriarty in Series 1 or 2, so I'm leaving myself open to that possibility. The possibility that Jim from IT is really the brother James Moriarty. And no, there won't be any more repercussions from Sherlock being a murderer. The government basically washed their hands of that when they sent him off on that trip. And if he slays the dragon of Series 4, I think that they'll be indebted to him, so they'll kind of sweep everything else under the rug. Question number 7, the Delikiz asks, what I want to know is whether those bank robbers with clown masks will play a bigger role in Series 4 or not. They did kind of drop the Red-Headed League plot during Empty Hearse. I definitely think they'll be referenced in Series 4. The Red-Headed League was one of the stories from the canon that I predicted could be used, and we never did really find out what happened to them after Donovan arrested them, so it's possible that they could come back. They were a relatively minor plot though, so I don't expect them to be too big, but they could always come back in one of the, lesser stories. Not the overarching story of Series 4, but just one of the episodes. Question number 8, Ivy Ellen asks, if Mycroft is the clever one, then why does Mycroft depend on Sherlock for help when things go bad? This is actually a fun one. Mycroft is the laziest smart person you have ever met. He never leaves the Diogenes Club. Mark Gatiss' version of the character is a lot more active though, but still, they're just honoring the character in the canon by having Mycroft pass all the dirty work, so to speak, onto Sherlock. That's why during Empty Hearst, whenever Mycroft went to rescue Sherlock from the Serbian prison, it was such a huge deal, because the real Mycroft in canon would have never done that. Question number 9, X to 515 asks, I'd like to know who the new villain is, and why he decided to use Moriarty's face to present himself. Also, what do you think is going to happen when the baby is born? Will Watson and Sherlock keep running around London? Will Mary join them? It's most likely that the villain is a true Sebastian Moran character, someone who is like Moriarty's Watson, and they're just using his image to strike fear in England. Remember, everyone learned that Moriarty was the real villain during Empty Hearst, so if he were still alive, it would make everyone really scared. And yes, Sherlock and Watson will still be a team cluing for looks. Mary will probably be stuck in the hospital though, if she does end up giving birth during Series 4. It really depends on what the timeline of Series 4 is going to be. Series 3 kind of jumped around in time, so, Mary went from being not pregnant to super pregnant, so Series 4 could take place over the course of a couple days or a couple months, we never know. Question number 10, Helly Rochester asks, if Moriarty is dead, what kind of villain will we see, and what will they do? If Moriarty is dead, the real villain will just be using the image of Moriarty to misdirect Sherlock. Moriarty is like the dragon Mycroft was talking about, a figurehead for Sherlock to slay. So the evil plan could be anything, either destroying the government or just stealing an ungodly amount of money. The real value of Moriarty at this point is just scaring the hell out of the government and everyone. Question number 11, Addie Burchin asks, I would really like to know what happened to the other Holmes brother. So you're talking about Sharonford. He's the theoretical older brother of Sherlock and Mycroft. Mycroft's statement made it sound like he was using said, other one, as an example of not being sentimental. So either something really terrible happened to that other brother, or he's dead. There is also a very far-fetched theory that Stephen Moffat will bend canon to make Moriarty that third brother. Question number 12, Alondra Garza asks, what do you think of Matt Smith possibly appearing in one of Sherlock's episodes? That would be awesome. I don't think it's going to happen, but Matt Smith actually auditioned for the role of Watson before Martin Freeman was brought in, but Stephen Moffat said that he was too much like Benedict Cumberbatch, and the series would not work with two Sherlock Holmeses. Somewhere on the internet, I'm sure there is a Matt Smith Sherlock audition tape. I dare you to find it. Question number 13, Awkward Cacti asks, I hope Cumberbatch will keep coming back for more Sherlock. Both Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman have signed on for Series 4, and they've already said that they'll keep making it as long as the BBC wants to pay for it. The only hard part is just scheduling around all the movies they do. They are two of the most popular actors available right now. That's actually what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to find time to shoot Series 4, so they haven't confirmed a start date. Question number 14, Bebop the Great asks, I've heard rumors that Series 4 could air as soon as late 2014. Any chance that that's true, or just wishful thinking? Yes, that's definitely wishful thinking. They can only do that if they finish filming all the episodes by the beginning of the summer, so that's like June. It takes a couple of months to edit everything and add the music, so I would plan for another January 1st premiere. We'll probably find out when it's going to start shooting in the next couple of months, so once we know that, we can start guessing whenever Series 4 is actually going to premiere. Question number 15, Neffy Jared asks, what happens when the source material runs out? Will Moffat and Gatiss just create new and original Sherlock Holmes stories? It's most likely that they'll just combine elements of different stories to make new ones. They can still operate within the framework of the canon and just change names and events to keep things fresh. To a large extent, stories are only inspired by Conan Doyle's writings. They're never literal adaptations, beat for beat. That just means that they'll bend canon a little bit, and they draw from a lot of different sources, not just the original novels. Question number 16, Arden Jacob asks, so big question for you is, which villain would make the most sense for the next series? And also, do you think that Mary could also be a villain? No, I don't think that Mary is the villain. They've kind of already explained her character. But I do think it makes the most sense for a true Sebastian Moran character to surface, or my second opinion is that the real Professor Moriarty will surface. I know a lot of people really want the original Moriarty to come back, but that would require some really complex explanations for how he survived that gunshot wound and whether or not it was real and what happened on that rooftop after Sherlock jumped off. Question number 17, Amina May asks, since the writers seem to be borrowing a bit from William S. Baring-Gould's wonderful book on Sherlock Holmes, do you think that they'll widen their sources to include some of the many pastiches that have been written about Holmes in the past, including the Sir Pons series? Yes, they even use some of the bits from the old Sherlock Holmes movies that weren't originally part of Conan Doyle's writings, so they draw from all things Sherlock Holmes, not just the original stories. So anything's up for grabs, so if there's other Sherlock source material, then you can look to that for more ideas. Question number 18, Leah Smileyface asks, will Series 4 have small standalone mysteries, or will there be a giant overarching theme? I actually really want to believe that the mystery of Moriarty Lives will take all of Series 4 to unravel. It would be a major tease to have it all explained in the first few minutes. That being said, both the idea of Moriarty and Magnuson were teased over the course of each series, so you could argue that all of the episodes are always connected. So yes, it will be one giant mystery, kind of standing over, several small mysteries. Question number 19, Maggie Lee asks, is there any crazy way that Moriarty could be the older brother? Do you think there's a chance the older brother may appear in Series 4? Thanks. Thank you. So I kind of mentioned this theory about Moriarty being the older brother in a previous answer, but I think it's a little too far-fetched. I think that Moffat wants you to think that Series 3 will be like one large internal Sherlock family battle. That does sound interesting, the idea of, Holmes versus Holmes, but I really do think that in the world of the show, that older brother is a non-entity. So no, I don't think the older brother theory is going to pan out. Question number 20 and last one, Mirren Copenal asks, are there any characters from the original stories that you would like to see in Season 4? I really just want to see Irene come back in a real way, not just in the Mind Palace. I can't wait to hear her make fun of Sherlock's relationship with Janine. They may not have had sex, but I am guessing that he ran a couple of the bases. Arthur Conan Doyle once said that the only real joy women bring to Holmes is in the problems that they bring him to solve. So what I really want to see is Irene or a new woman from the canon bring him a problem that's so incredible that it's better than sex. That is one question that I'll put to you guys right below in the comments. What is that one problem that would be so big that for Sherlock it would be like having sex? It would be so enjoyable. And do you think that that will be the problem that he'll have to solve during Series 4, the big overarching problem? So if you guys didn't see it, I kind of teased the idea that I'm going to be doing a weekly Sherlock video called The Weekly Sherlock. I know, very imaginative. Be sure to subscribe to get it. It's just going to be like Anime Club. It'll be, weekly themed Sherlock video with, anything Sherlock. So leave your suggestions about what you want to see in that. In the meantime, you should also check out Black Sails and The Musketeers, which I both started doing videos for. They're actually going to be a lot of fun. Right now, click here for my Series 4 predictions and click here for my review of Episode 3. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.